What if your devotional journey, what if your spiritual journey doesn't need a map, but only your courage to take the first step? I want to read something from the University of Copenhagen. The Spirit is not God, but it is the vehicle by which God is revealed to man, communicates to him, and by which man encounters God not only in himself, but in all creation. Now, the relevance for this quote is that it supports the spiritual journey involving an exploration of a certain presence beyond self. Now, how true is this? Going into the book of Proverbs, Proverbs 20 and 27, the spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching all the inward parts of the belly. Now, we will always be communicated with through a frequency. No matter who we are, no matter what we think we believe, no matter what we think we don't believe, we are connected to something beyond this physical frame. And beyond this physical frame, we can know this, example, due to our emotions, how our feelings are present within us, yet not at the same time, sometimes being subconscious, sometimes not, our minds doing things and projecting things and interpreting things in ways that are just different. We are more than what it seems. And that more is always going to be, again, doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, what you don't believe, what you've been through, what you anticipate going through, where you are, connected to something beyond us. But the question remains is, or that should be asked or thought of, is how does that communication happen? How is it that what is beyond this realm, the living intelligence beyond this realm, speaks to and for and with and through us at times, and especially in certain seasons? And it is actually those certain seasons that are the result of that intended communication. Going into the book of Isaiah 38, just for a quick example, Isaiah 38, 14 to 16, like a crane or a swallow, so did I chatter. I did mourn as a dove, mine eyes fail with looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Undertake for me. What shall I say? He hath both spoken unto me, and himself hath done it. I shall go softly all my years in the bitterness of my soul. By these things men live, and in all these things is the life of my spirit. So wilt thou recover me, and make me to live. Behold, for peace I had great bitterness, but you in your love has delivered my soul from the pit of corruption, and you have cast all my sins behind your back. This is the number one means of communication. The number one means of communication is conflict, inward tension, inward oppression. We can't ignore the things that we're going through. We can't ignore them, because these are the things that, this is the only way the voice of the intelligent mind of the living God can speak to us, through the things that are going on around us and through the things that are going on within us. An example is, I'm hearing a lot of individuals that are praying. They're praying, right? You're praying for things, but you're not getting the things that you want. In return, you're getting conflict. You're getting conflict for every single one of your prayers. You're praying for peace, but you're getting conflict. You're praying for some sort of mercy to be shown from above, and it's looking like there is no mercy being shown from anywhere. Well, that's the answer to a prayer for peace, to a prayer for understanding, to a prayer for mercy. Conflict, tension, and oppression. That's the only way we're going to get the peace, the mercy that we're looking for. It is through conflict, it is through tension, it is through oppression, because it is in these things, living by, as the author, as the speaker in Isaiah is saying, the bitterness of one's soul, living through the bitterness of one's soul. This is the life of the Spirit. It is the life of the Spirit. Or I should say, in more clear terms, the spirit of the mind, the conscience of the devotional conversation, the compass of our devotional thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors to understand the direction that we need to go in. And it is in this direction, should we honor it? Should we remain faithful to it? We will go through some stages of growth and development for a specific identity that is peculiar and particular only to us. I want to read something else. A sense of spiritual identity may be achieved by remembering and reflecting upon these spiritual interactions, teachings, and experiences through the process suggested in our tentative model. Pre-awareness of spiritual identity, awakening of spiritual awareness, recognition and reconstruction of fragmented spiritual memories into consistent themes, and integration of spiritual memories and experiences into a spiritual identity with concomitant changes in behavior. These proposed spiritual identity stages correspond to those suggested in other theories that describe stage sequences for types of identity that tend to emerge during adulthood. There are 4 stages. These 4 stages of growth: pre-awareness of spiritual identity, awakening of spiritual awareness, recognizing and reconstructing memories into something that we can integrate into a form of spiritual awareness for changes in approach and in behavior, are what are supposed to happen when we allow what is going on in our life, the conflict therein, to not push us away from the scriptures or the mind therein in the exercising of it, but into it. It is through that, not having any sort of map, because it's really easy to understand and believe that the format within the religious world is the format for the human being, but human beings do not act according to a script. Religious law, the religious world lives by religious law. Everything we think about a religious or spiritual or devotional experience, it is tied to some sort of routine thought, routine being, routine acting, routine behaving. And so we cannot think or fathom that there is an experience outside of this, despite us already understanding that such an experience is inherently fraudulent to the individual that we are. But there is. And Bible understands that there is, because there's always going to be something pulling us towards what we cannot understand or conceive or even observe concerning the character of the living God. Doesn't matter if we're set up in a structured routine or a non-structured routine, we are going to be called to something greater within ourselves. We're going to feel that pull, we're going to feel that longing, and we're going to go into different outlets to get that. And that may be, let that be well for a time, but we have to grow up in our understanding. We have to allow our understanding to go through stages of growth and development to understand that the way that we're going about things, there is a way that is okay in the beginning, but you can't be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years still doing the same things you were doing at the beginning, going to sources and experts and all of this, instead of getting your own personal groundwork going for what your own inward self is wanting to understand. And this is all coming from, as we're reading here, coming from the book of Ephesians 4:22 to 24, beginning with Ephesians 4, which says that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. So how can we stop being children tossed to and fro? Go down, same chapter, verse 22. Put off the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. Be renewed, verse 23, in the spirit of your mind. Put on the new man, which is created. That same process that we just read from Pohl and Smith about the 4 stages that are available for spiritual growth and identity. It's the same thing that the author of the Ephesians is saying when it comes to you need to put off your former belief. That old man is not a literal man. This is an old mind. Put off the old mind of your former conversation. Be renewed in what remains afterwards, and let what remains afterwards in that renewed state be created. This process of creation is a process of molding and shaping, pruning and purging what is going on within, not necessarily the inward person, but the devotional conscience, The devotional conscience has to go through stages of growth for the purpose of creation, because from Genesis to Malachi and the New Testament philosophy also highlights that the devotional conversation, not you. There is no deity looking at you to be holy. The devotional conversation is to be holy. 1 Peter 1:14 and 15, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance, but as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in what? So be ye holy in all manner of conversation. So if you don't know what to do, if you don't know what step to take, when you're understanding that there is something wrong with your devotional experience, there is something wrong with your prior devotional experience, there is something wrong with your prior religious experience, there is something wrong with where you see your religious experience going, if you don't know what to do, if you're looking for a map, the first step is your courage to take a step into you. Not necessarily you, the human being, you, your devotional conversations, thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors. There is no religion, there is no priest, there is no anything that is going to give you a blueprint for the living human and devotional experience that you should be having. No one will do this. Not going to happen. You. The blueprint begins with you. And you understanding where you've been and allowing where you've been to form a pattern of understanding to envision a place where you need to go. Only then can you find the health that you need, and only then can that kind of health suffice for the kind of experience that you know you should be having.